Hi, this is Diane. I just need a thumbs up from a couple of people if you can hear me fine. Thank you, Lisa. All right, great. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our business meeting. As you remember from past years, it's going to be our goal to try and get through our business meeting quickly. Gail, I'll ask you to do a roll call.
Okay. Anna Eddy?
I know she's joining. She just told me she was joining, so we'll call her name again in a moment.
No, I'm here.
Okay, Laurel.
Oh, she's there.
Okay. Hi, Anna. Laurel?
She's here.
Laurel. Okay, Judy's not here. I heard Pauline.
Yes.
Everybody's on mute, so it's going to take a minute for people to turn off mute and turn back on.
Oh, okay. I heard Iris. I heard Lisa say Iris wasn't going to be here. Maureen, I heard already. Leanne, I heard. Pam Raynock. Yep. Pam, I heard. Neil, I heard. Diane, I heard. Lisa Jones.
Speaking.
Christine.
Here.
And Lee Bradley.
Lee's not on.
Lee's not on. Lisa Maston, Karen Benner,
Yes.
and Dave Nagel.
Here.
Chris Miner.
I thought Chris
Okay,
was
is
here
that-
earlier.
Christmas.
Is anybody here
I'm
from
here.
the Friends? Oh, Chris, you are there. Okay. Is anybody there from the Friends?
I
Is
am.
Brian? Kim?
Sheila.
Oh, Sheila. Okay. That's a new name for me.
Me.
What's your last name, Sheila?
Rowell, Rowell.
Okay, great. All right. We got everybody then. And we're starting the meeting at 6:17. Okay. 6:15. Okay. I will unmute myself so you, I will mute myself so you don't hear the clicking of my keyboard, but I will come on if I have a question or anything.
Great, thanks, Gail. So public participation, it didn't look like we had anyone for public participation. From there, I'll move on to town council liaison. Dave or Chris, do you have any quick comments you'd like to share?
Yeah, I do. Just want to, this is not, I know this meeting's for another reason, but I just want to get you to think again about restarting, looking at expansion for the library. There is a report that's coming up. None of us have seen it yet, but it is coming due in terms of what facilities are like. And I think it would be to your benefit to get your different plans together and relook at things so that you're ready at the appropriate time to see what this town can do for the library, which is long overdue. That's all.
Thank you, Dave, and we've been looking at it right along.
Sorry, I'm just trying to light up my face. It's just not going to work until 7 o'clock, I guess. Thank you. Chris, did you have anything?
No, I will just concur with everything that Dave said, and just to make sure that your plans are put in motion, at least to the best that you have for the timing at this point.
Super, thank you. Secretary's report from Iris Larson. She's not here. I'm going to say there is no report from her. Approval of the minutes. We actually have a couple of sets of minutes to approve today. It would be the June meeting and then the special meeting. So I'll ask first for the June meeting. Anybody have any comments? If not, then I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes. That was Leanne.
Second that.
Anna seconds. Please call your name out.
Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, any questions or discussion of the minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those approving the minutes from the June meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Diane, this is Lisa. Laurel is trying to get unmuted
Okay,
so that she can make a comment.
you're echoing. Are you in the same room as Laurel?
Yes. I'll go in the other room.
Hello, I can't see myself to unmute myself. I think I just got unmuted. In the June minutes on page 6.
Yes.
I'm trying to find page 6 now. Under committee reports, B1, line 3, it should be hold harmless agreement, not home harmless agreement.
Thank you.
And can I see all the other participants, please? I can't see them.
It's gotta be how you're set up because we can see everybody.
It helps to feel that you're participating with a group.
I understand.
Laurel, you need to move your mouse over on the right-hand side and you'll see the arrow and you can click the arrow and you can see the rest of the faces.
I have done a lot of Zoom meetings. I do not see a place to show all of the people.
That is because we have a PowerPoint up in front of us.
Approval of the minutes?
Yeah.
Do you see any faces, Laura?
I see faces on the right, but they're not all visible at the same time. And
Well, that's what we're all viewing.
Okay,
Yeah, we're all seeing the same thing, though.
okay.
To experiment.
You're not missing anything.
And people do have their videos on, so
Thank you, thank you.
thank you.
Diane, you're really breaking up.
Am I?
Yeah.
I can try and switch mics. Are there any other questions for regarding the minutes or changes?
Well, I had a correction on the September 22nd minutes, if I can bring it up now. The annual meeting. Hello?
Not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Is this any better in terms of voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we're not at the September minutes. The September minutes are for the annual meeting. So we would be waiving the reading of those. So is it a critical error or typo?
No, it's not critical at all.
Okay. So for the June meeting and minutes, so we made a motion to approve them. We've discussed it. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved, Maureen.
This is
Second.
Anna, I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
And this is
Abstained?
Pauline. Pauline, I'm abstaining. I wasn't at the meeting.
Thank you, Pauline. Okay, so those were the June minutes, and now we'll go to the special meeting in August. Does anybody have any corrections or comments on those meetings?
This is Leanne. I'll make a motion to accept.
Second, Laurel.
Okay. Hearing no questions or points of discussion, I'll ask for a vote for the approval of the special meeting held in August. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And anyone in absentia? Okay, motion carries. And they are accepted. Thank you. Review of the calendar activities. I'm just going to quickly remind folks that committee assignments will be done in October after we vote in our new officers. And then the next coming meetings, of course, in October, because of Columbus Day, it's actually the third Monday. So that meeting will be on 10/19. Then it's November 9th and then December 14th for the next meetings coming up. And as you remember, the Ready, Set, Go drawing will be October 5th. And Hanel and the other activities have been canceled or postponed through the end of the year due to the COVID virus. All right, treasurer's report, Leanne.
Yes, I am going to basically refer everyone to what I will talk about in the annual report. It is a very general report this time around. It does not have the detail I normally provide during our business meetings. I will stipulate a couple of the things that we have just for your knowledge. Fiscal year June 30th obviously has ended. I have finished the books. They will be going to the accountant for filing of our IRS filings, the 990, et cetera. We did suffer a loss last year of about $12,000. That primarily is because of the race losses, though most of our sponsors came through for us, so that was really good. We have a new fundraiser started, the Ready, Set, Go. And just so you're aware, that is doing very well. That will be in this current fiscal year. And right now, or as of Friday, I should say, we have about $1,060 between the online and the paper checks that have come in within about a week. So that's really great. And those donations range from $10 to $100. Our balance at August 31 was $11,114.01. And we've had some donations, obviously, since then that I just talked about, and some others. I'm going to provide a more detailed information for you for accounting wise in October for the sake of brevity for today. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Leanne?
No, may I make a comment? This is Maureen.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
if perhaps this is not the right, or it is the right time to remind board members of their race donation.
Oh, thank you, Maureen. This is Laurel. I was just thinking of asking Leanne if she could send out an email to us to remind us. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, many gave, and it was recorded in June, or I mean, for the June 30th year. But there were some who tend to give theirs right near race time. And of course, our race was postponed. So you weren't.
That'd be me.
Okay.
So the monies you've received, Leanne, were for the race that wasn't. So
Anything that we received before June 30th, I had to report in last year. So
okay.
it really technically was reported under the 2025K race. That's how it went in. What's currently going forward now is we do have the refunds that'll have to go in. They will go against the Ready, Set, Go. And we had about $570, which were registrations from last year that we've now transferred in, but they were in our books last year. They can't go against in the book wise. I mean, total as a fundraiser, yes, they're going to be part of it, but they've already been counted. I can't count them twice.
So Ready, Set, Go is this fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a question. If we or anybody wants to make a donation for Ready, Set, Go, but not receive a raffle ticket, how do we do that?
Well, I think you could indicate it on your form.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be if you're going to go to the website and use the Ready, Set, Go, then you would want to indicate it, send an email out to us that you do not want to be in the raffle.
It's just a strict donation, right?
You can also just send a check to the library and not be part of the donation.
Well, but my thought is that we want the Ready, Set, Go to show as.
Well, right now at this point, if you put money in, it will go against Ready, Set, Go. It's just whether you have a chance or not.
So I can just send a check saying general donation and it'll go into that pot?
Well, general donation, no. If you put Ready, Set, Go, that's where it'll go.
Okay, well, that's what I mean, and I'll indicate no raffle ticket.
Right.
Okay. And then the one other thing that you might want to be aware of if you're going out to that website, there is a box where you can click to cover the expense, because there is a charge that gets processed against every credit card transaction. So if you were to give $50 and not cover that expense, we might get $47 of that $50 donation, just so you know. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it's that type of thing.
Or just send a check.
Right.
Make more work for Leanne.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Pam,
if
are
we
you
don't
trying to
want
say
to get
something?
if we don't want to have our entries, isn't it? It seems just kind of silly for me. I donated, but it seems kind of silly that I would get the entries. I really don't want to. So how do I now get out of getting the entries?
Right.
Well, so this is Anna. So I'm the one that's actually processing the slips that are going to go into the raffle. So as long as I get an indication from every board member that they're making a donation, but they're not participating in the raffle, I'll pull everybody out.
Okay.
Great. And that's a great double check, just so that you're not counting on Anna to recognize your name and remember the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Diane,
Yes.
I had a quick question. I'm on that Ready, Set, Go right now. I can only see up to $50. If I want to
Right.
give 100, I have to do it twice.
Anna set that up. Maybe.
Anna?
Well, I was told we were only gonna go up to 50, but I can go in and put an extra. put
Well, I
another
know
line item.
our normal donation is 100. So I was
Right.
just going to
Okay.
try to do that.
So why don't we figure that off offline? This,
Okay.
we gotta move a little
That's
bit more
fine.
quickly here. Okay. Any other questions for Leanne on the treasurer's report? I know she's going to give a report again at the annual meeting.
No.
Okay, thank you. Library director's report. Lisa, is there anything you need to bring up in this meeting that won't be covered at the annual meeting?
Yeah, I just have two things. One is that we are getting a refund from Parks and Rec for the community center. I think it's however much we paid. I think it was $140.
140.
Yeah, so we should be getting a check from them, Leanne. Okay. And then the second thing is we have had 2 staff resignations. Well, they're actually retirements. Lynn Cayley is retiring November 13th.
That's Maureen crying.
I know, well, and then Sue Schneider is retiring. She's actually moving to Florida. Her last day is October 2nd. So that was kind of a double whammy. So we have to fill positions. We still are going to, when the dust settles over the next few months, we're still going to be down 2 full-time positions for a while. So we're trying to figure all of that out, but just to let you know about Lynn and Sue Schneider. Okay.
When is Lynn's last day?
November 13th.
And we are able to rehire those full-time positions, correct?
Yes. Yes.
That's good news.
Yep. Okay, that's all I have, Diane.
Okay, thank you. Any questions pertaining to that for Lisa?
No.
It's 6:33. Thank you. So I'm going to try to move on. Karen Benner, anything you would like to report at this meeting?
I don't have a report, Diane.
Thank you. Friends, Sheila, welcome to your first official meeting with the board as the liaison. Congratulations. I understand you're the vice president and Kim Rada is now president of Friends. So we appreciate you signing on and helping to facilitate the communication between our 2 areas. Very nice.
Hello.
Well, I'm very thrilled to be here and enjoy, participating in all of this. There's not much to report because of the COVID situation, but we were trying to do a lot of brainstorming in trying to find some fundraising ideas. We do have the children's grab bag on October 3rd. And we spent most of the day Saturday in the container, sorting the boxes out and pulling out the children's ones and making the bags. So that's ready to go forward.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Sheila?
Nope. Welcome.
I was at the meeting for the board, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. I concur with everything that Sheila said.
Just in case you wanted to fib, Sheila.
Okay. And we're going to kind of go through the committee reports just for a time check. It's now 6:34 and our annual meeting will start at 7 o'clock. So budget, I'm assuming there's no report on that?
No report.
Okay. PEP, Laurel Goodgen, anything?
Lisa's giving the library director's evaluation update.
Hello. Actually, Lisa Meston and I met in the summertime and agreed on a timeline that we would be able to complete the evaluation form. So the form will actually be in 2 parts. The form itself will actually look very similar to what we see and saw today. It will be, but there will be a sort of a guide that goes with it that allows you to see and interpret the between a good, what's a poor evaluation on a certain segment and what is a good evaluation on a certain segment. So I have to say that I'm behind times on that, and I should have it done by the end of the month, and to actually next to Lisa, and then we will share that with the committee.
Great, thank you. Any question for Lisa Jones? They say it's complicated with two Lisas.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lisa and Laurel for all your work on that. Investment, Neil.
I sent out my reports for July and August. As of August 31st, 2020, our portfolio balance is at $695,959.94, which is good because we're now up for the year. We're up maybe a little under 4% for the year. So we've recovered after the February-March debacle, and we're doing well. I guess the only way to look at this is to say that in terms of the stock market and what we're doing, slow and steady wins the race. That's
Excellent. Excellent. Any questions for Neil? Thank you, Neil. House, Laurel.
Yes, I asked Lynn Cayley to send out a copy of her report to everyone on the board showing the progress that has been made in the building. It's very good. That's thanks to Lynn and Lisa Maston. That's all.
Great, thank you. I think there were some nice pictures in there too. Any questions for Laurel? Well, we can't wait till we can get back in the building so we can see some of this stuff.
Amen.
Thank you. Facility and site, Maureen.
No report.
Thank you. Fund development, Anna. You have to unmute.
A short report. Some of us on the committee have attended an online webinar, and so we're developing some new ideas and we'll report in more detail at the next meeting. And I'm glad everybody's liking the Ready, Set, Go giveaway.
That's great. Yeah, that's going to be a good savior for us. Thank you. Any questions for Anna? Okay, next, nominations, Maureen.
Well, we have three-year terms that are expiring. Do you want me to report now? Lee Bradley is not renewing his term, so
okay,
we will have an opening for a corporate position. And also, heads up, we don't have paper ballots, so when the nominations are announced for the officers, Gail, you'll have to take a roll call vote. So we'll do it just as we've been doing now. If you just announce your name and
okay, thanks for letting me know.
Actually,
I don't see the raised hand, so we'll do the roll call.
Yeah, we can do a roll call. Because normally what we do is ask to submit one ballot.
For the annual meeting, yeah, we can submit one ballot.
We can even do that, and then all in favor, I don't know, somebody let me know. Or should we do individual roll call? No, because then you have.
I think we always submit one ballot from the board. Does anybody?
So
the slate of officers for this year is who?
The slate of officers are President Diane Stamm, Vice President Maureen Lyons, Treasurer Leanne Mankey, and Secretary Iris Larson. And
okay, so then if anybody nominates anyone from the floor, that would be the other thing that might come up at the annual meeting.
Yeah.
Or Jones.
So this is Anna. With the raised hand business, if people take their mouse and go over where it says participants down below and click on that, you will see the list of the 17 participants.
Yeah.
And on the bottom right, there's the raise hand option. So you can do the vote that way.
That's good. Yes.
I don't.
That's fine. That's fine, Anna, except I'm only on audio on my phone. I'm not video at all, so I wouldn't be able to see the raised hands.
Right.
This
So
is
we'll,
Gail.
we'll do a quick roll call vote
Yeah,
at the
I
annual
think
meeting.
that would be the best
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
for the
All
one
right.
ballot. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for nominations? We'll really go into that at the annual. All right, thank you. Communications, Iris is not here. I know that Anna has reached out to do some publicity on Ready, Set, Go. Anna, did you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, so we've done very well. Newington Life has already publicized us. I've been working with Lisa Jones with drafting up some press releases. She's taken care of that part. We did an interview today over the phone with Erica from the town crier, and she talked with Diane as well. And the Newington Chamber is working with us, and they're going to promote it. And Natalie Harbison from the Friends is going to do a yeoman's job getting it out in mini footnotes and posting it on Facebook and what's happening in Newington. So I think we'll have a lot of coverage. The only thing I can add to that is I drafted up a little bit of text last night and included a link, and I probably sent it out to 80 people in my contacts list, people that I know that are in town. And I've already seen that a number of them have already started to donate. So if everybody sent it to, 20, 25 people, whatever, I mean, that would just be that many more donations that we get.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Any questions for Anna? No?
Diane?
Yes,
Pam.
go ahead, Pam.
What happened to the idea? Are we still sending something out in the mail, or we're not doing that now?
Went out in the footnotes, there was a flyer.
Okay. All right. No, there was
So-
something that I had volunteered to work on with Christine.
That's at the end,
Okay, when is that?
October 5th or 6th.
we're
I mean, you
doing
could
what?
actually mail on the 6th.
And that's mailing the,
The gift
That's-
cards.
The gift cards, the mailing the prizes out to the winners.
okay. All righty.
Okay, great. All right, then we move right into old business. The annual meeting, which we're all aware, starts in just under 15 or just over 15 minutes. So hopefully we'll get a time for a break so people can do their 7th inning stretch before we start again at 7 o'clock. I think the Ready, Set, Go, we've already discussed a couple of times this evening. The drawing is on October 5th, and we do have folks set up to mail out those prizes afterwards. So as Anna said, we can continue and we will continue to advertise that. Any questions on the Ready, Set, Go that we haven't already discussed? Okay, thank you. Open board positions. We do have 2 town Republican Town Committee positions. There is someone who was interested and wrote a letter to the Town Republican Committee. And the response back came from Beth Del Buono, our mayor, saying, thank you for your interest, and we will look at it at the time that they go through the open position. So we might have one more person sitting on our board. Lee did resign from the board, so we have a corporate position open. We're hoping to get a full board at some point, but that's what the open positions are as of this time right now. And then the 150th anniversary, I don't know if there's any updates on that. Is Dave or Leanne, you just muted yourself, unmute.
Dan, you're coming in clearer now. I mean,
Okay,
you
yeah,
look clear.
There you go.
I have a new mic, so we'll go from there. The one thing I have, it's not, I know the committee, the 150th, because of COVID, has changed its format in terms of keeping a relatively low key. They're not trying to put a huge financial burden on the town. I'm not on the committee, but I was thinking about a couple of things. One of the things that we were gifted, and the paperwork has not come through from Newington Education Foundation, was that Afghan design. I'm going to reach out to the lawyer for NEF to see if we can get that paperwork set, because if nothing else, that would be a socially distanced fundraiser that we could hold during the 150th. And it takes a few months to get the loom order through. So I will, in the next month, reach out and see if I can get something moving on that.
Great. Thank you.
Diane,
Yes, Neil.
can I just put one very minor matter? We had the library director reports emailed out to us a little while ago for May, June, and July, but it looks like we received 2 copies of June and July, but not the May report.
Right.
Lynn corrected that.
Yeah,
Sent it-
Check your
look for
email.
another email from Lynn Callie.
Okay, that's kind of what I expected. Yeah.
Yeah, she did correct it, I think, a day or so later.
Okay. And then I just wanted to mention again the annual meeting from last year, as far as the minutes. It was noted that I was absent from the meeting. I was at the meeting. I was about 25 minutes late. But I show up as having been absent, but I was in attendance. So
Okay,
I wanted to notice that.
okay, we'll change that.
That's it. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm sure Gail made a note of that, but we'll make sure.
I'm not shown as being in attendance or even being absent. I didn't exist at that.
See what happens?
Yeah.
You don't
You
show
just-
up,
yeah.
you don't exist.
I was there.
This is Gail, yeah.
I was very
Yeah,
late.
Neil, I didn't see you there, so I figured
That's
you
it, I
weren't there,
figured
so you were there. No problem.
I was about 25
I'll fix
minutes
it. I'll fix that.
Very late.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. That's it.
All right, new business. I don't have anything listed under new business. Don't think anybody else had brought anything up. So from there, we'll go to public participation. I don't know if James is on. Do we have anybody from the public?
We do have one individual on from the public, Lorraine Kalinowski. If she'd like to, she can use the raise hand function by clicking on participants window at the bottom of her screen. And it'll show her the raise hand, lower hand function at the bottom of the window.
Great.
Give her just a
Lorraine, if
moment.
you've got anything to say, we'd love to hear from you.
No, it doesn't appear that she's got an interest in it. I can unmute her if you'd like to just allow her to speak directly.
Sure, and I'll just, while you're doing that, I'll just, thank you, Lorraine, for showing interest in coming to our meeting. Maybe you're just early for the annual meeting, which will start at 7 o'clock. This was one of our normal business meetings, even though we had a kind of an express, compressed timeframe for it. Did you have anything that you wanted to ask the group?
I have given her the option to unmute. She hasn't responded as of yet.
Okay.
And could I have the spelling of her name, please?
Loraine, last name Kalinosky.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. If there are no further comments at this point, I'll ask for a motion of adjournment for this business meeting, reminding everyone that we've got about a 10-minute break. So if you need to grab a glass of water or something before the 7 o'clock meeting, I would say don't shut down because it's the same bat channel on your computers
right.
here.
Thank you. I was just going to mention not to leave the meeting. You're going to continue in with the next one.
Right, so you can mute yourself and you can get a drink of water or whatever you need to do, or we could visit amongst each
This is
other.
Maureen. I call for adjournment.
Thank you. May I have a second?
This is Anna. I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There's never anyone opposed. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. And we'll go live again, if you will, at 7 o'clock with the annual meeting.
All right.
Ask when everybody starts coming back, just sort of keep muted for a little bit. We're going to use that for the editing to break up the 2 meetings for our online page.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Lisa. Pam,
Yes.
do we have any idea when we're going to move forward with opening it all?
No, no, not yet. Not yet.
Wow. Not even a glimmer, huh?
Not yet.
My mother was asking me.
I don't have any date or anything like that.
Yeah. I try to convince her to go on and look for the book she wanted and then just call up, and
She doesn't want to do that.
I don't know. She misses the library.
Sure.
I know.
Lisa,
Yes.
you really can't open until the demolition is done, can you, because of the parking situation?
No, I mean, we could open. It's going to be really challenging. Parking is hard right now for the staff, you know, for the town hall staff and for us. I just don't know what's going to happen. Because there's very little parking right now on the lot when we're there, and Garfield is full. So I don't know what happens when the full staff is back, you know?
Gee, I even forgot about that all the staff isn't there.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
demolition
I
is,
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got about 20 seconds before we start.
okay.
All right.
So I'm going to mute this for a moment just so we have a clean start. Go ahead, Diane.
Hello, and welcome to Lucy Robbins Wells Library's 81st annual meeting. Before I get too much farther into the agenda, I noticed that we had left public participation off our agenda. So if possible, I'd like to have a member of the board make a motion to add public participation as the second to last item on our agenda right before adjournment.
This is Leanne, so moved.
Second, Laurel.
Thank you, Laurel. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So we will add public participation as the item just before adjournment on today's annual meeting. So I thank you for that.
Excuse me,
so-
Diane, do we need to do roll call for this too, or everybody's still here? How about the town council liaisons?
Let me just check the screen. Dave Nagel is still here.
Yes, I am.
And Chris is still here. It looks like he's still signed in. Everybody else
I'm
is
still
still
here.
here. Thank you,
And
Chris.
Sheila's here from the Friends.
And yes, Sheila is still
Okay.
online from the Friends.
Thank you.
It is the same total roll call.
Excellent. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you. Okay, so my name's Diane Stam. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees. And when we all think about what's been going on here, what a difference a year can make. Last year, we were all packed into the atrium of the library, didn't have enough parking. People were parked on the street and people were shuttling in and carpooling in because our guest speaker was Gina Barreca. This year, of course, due to the COVID-19 virus, we're all practicing our social distancing and participating via a video conference. Mainly, this is due to the governor on March 20th signing an executive order for Connecticut businesses and residents to stay safe and stay home. Many libraries throughout the state had closed as of March 9th. Our library remained open walk-in services through March 16th. With many other libraries having closed the week before we did, we experienced a huge increase in requests for services, with folks traveling from as far away as Old Saybrook, Connecticut to stock up on materials for the stay-at-home phase of the Connecticut Stay Home, Stay Safe policy. I'm pleased to note that while our library was closed to walk-in traffic, the staff pulled together to continue to provide remote services, such as the Lucy to Go book pickup, answering calls to the reference desk, and of course, helping folks get access to many of our online services for books, movies, and learning. There are also several maintenance and organizational items accomplished in the building. Lisa Maston, our director of the library, will go through some of these during her presentation. Throughout this time, our director has stayed informed and modified services to follow town and health safety guidelines. Sadly, one event that we were not able to hold was the library's 5K fundraiser. We were hopeful in the spring that we might be able to hold the race in the fall. However, we are still dealing with the COVID-19 virus. Our sponsors have continued to support us, and we have a Ready, Set, Go drawing to be held on October 5th for those in our community who have bought tickets. For more information, please see our library's website for the Ready, Set, Go information. And now it's time to actually continue with the business part of our meeting. And I will ask for a motion to waive the reading of the minutes from last year's annual motion. May I have
So
a motion
moved.
for that?
Maureen.
Second?
This is Anna, I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
No, sorry.
Okay. I know, I should give more time for the mute button. Thank you. So the motion carries, and we will not have a reading of the minutes. I would now ask for a motion to approve the minutes from our annual meeting.
This is Leanne, so moved.
Thank you. A second.
Neil,
This is Sam,
second.
I'll second. Oh, Neil.
Thank you, Neil. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now I'd like to turn it over to Lisa Maston for her, oh, I'm sorry. First, it will be the treasurer's report. Leanne Mankey, if you would be so kind as to give our treasurer's report.
I thought I'd lucked out.
No.
Okay. 2020 Treasurer's Report for the annual reporting period. Even during these very trying and interesting times, I'm pleased to report that the Lucy Robbins Wells Library continues to be a huge asset to the Newington community. Along with the rest of the world, COVID-19 has impacted our fundraising efforts as well as our investments, and we're working hard to adapt to these changes. We also invested in our facility. With the planned improvements in the children's department, our staff took advantage of a bad situation, our closure to the walk-in traffic to the public, and was able to facilitate the necessary construction work during this time. When we reopen our doors to the public to walk-in traffic, I encourage you to come on in and see the physical plan updates that have been accomplished. Despite some financial challenges this past year, we're basically financially sound with our investments and continue to look for new ways to grow financially. We typically operate within a break-even budget. Fiscal year end June 30th, 2020, unfortunately resulted in a loss of approximately $12,000 for our general operations expenses, as well as substantial losses in our restricted fund investments. Individual donations were lower this year. The pandemic provided some setbacks to our typical fundraising efforts this year. Our largest fundraiser, the 5K road race, was postponed from May to October and then ultimately canceled. I would like to extend our thanks and appreciation to many of our race sponsors who still provided monetary sponsorship and are working with us to find new ways to promote the library. Moving forward into fiscal year 2021, we're moving forward with our new fundraising effort of Ready, Set, Go giveaway. We're only days into the event thus far, but the response has been good, and I encourage everyone to participate. In addition, our investments for our restricted funds have returned to values of around the January 1st, 2020 levels and are currently tracking in a positive direction. The circumstances of 2020 continue to challenge Lucy Robbins Wells Library to provide top-notch services and programs. I'm pleased to say that our wonderful staff continues to meet these challenges, finding new and creative ways to keep our library a first-class institution. Many of these programs are made possible with the financial support of the Friends and private donations. I encourage you to take advantage of the unique and wide-ranging opportunities that the library brings to our community. At the present time, our records are being prepared for our accountant, who will review them and prepare the financial statements and the nonprofit income tax returns due in November. As we look forward to another challenging year for the Lucy Robbins Wells Library, we thank you for your continued support. Respectfully submitted, Leanne Wetherell Mankey, Treasurer, September 14th, 2020.
Thank you, Leanne. Any questions for Leanne at this point? No, hearing none, we'll move on. Now it's time for our director's report. Lisa Maston, if you would like to give the report.
Okay. You just have to give me 1 second, okay?
Yep, I understand you have some slides to share with the group, and we'll give you a moment to get those set up.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. Can you see my slides? I can't tell.
We can't see your slides yet, or I can't anyways.
I don't see them.
Could you go down to the bottom with share screen?
Lisa, make sure you're hitting the share button.
Oh, no.
There we go. We can see your screen.
Yep.
We don't see the presentation yet.
Okay, give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry.
Neil, why are you sharing, Neil?
Typically, any development we do in a park affecting wetlands.
I'm seeing some, that's what's throwing me. I'm sorry. I'm seeing Neil's screen.
Oh, is it Neil's screen?
Yeah.
Neil, can you unshare?
Pull away from that pond. Yeah, we're thinking. Depends on what day of the week it is, right? Yes, hard to tell. Yeah, we can't talk for them or think for them. Every commission's different. And
Go ahead, Lisa.
even,
All right.
any commission in any
Hold on. Sorry.
exactly. Yep. Snapshot of time.
Give me a second. I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. Sorry.
Might help the cause of within the upland review, is it within 100 feet of the
Don't apologize. We're all going to be computer wizards when this is all over.
You see it now,
So
James?
it's coming up. Yes.
Yay.
Yes,
Okay.
we see the slide, the picture of the library.
Okay, that's good. Phew.
And we see next slide too, so maybe you want to go
Yes,
into
you don't
closed.
want to see that. That's not the one I wanted then. Hold on. I'm sorry. I practice this at home, believe it or not.
Change your view down bottom. Click the 3 dots and go back to standard slides. You're in presenter view.
I know, but I don't see the 3 dots at the bottom, James.
Right, yep, right down
Underneath
bottom there
your-
to the right. So circle with 3 dots.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hide presenter view, right?
You want to end presenter view. You just want to be in slide view.
This is what I was afraid of.
We'll get there. As soon as we figure it out, we'll all be back in person again.
You see anything yet?
I just see all of us.
There you go. Hide presenter view. That should not have done that to you.
Hold on.
Yes.
You already have your slideshow started, right? So go unstart it. Go back to just slides.
Okay.
Okay. At the top of it where it says set up slideshow.
Yep.
Exit from that.
Okay.
So inside of there, click the second box down instead of the top one. It should just be single view, I believe.
You mean?
Hold on, I'm pulling mine up so that we can work on it together.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, so if you click on Setup Slideshow, yours should say Browsed by an individual window. So it should be the second box on second checkbox on the left-hand side.
And am I in PowerPoint or Zoom?
You're in PowerPoint.
Yep.
So you went up to PowerPoint, you're under the Slideshow tab.
Yep.
You're going to go to the 5th piece on the ribbon, Setup Slideshow.
Yep, got it.
And on the left-hand side, show type should be browsed by an individual.
Got it.
And then click on that.
Yep.
So now show your slideshow. So start it from the beginning. And now you should have your window down below for Zoom.
Yep.
And select share your screen, and you should see your full slideshow shown.
Yay.
Is that what you're seeing?
Looks
From
great,
the clapping, I'm
Lisa.
going to say yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this. How's that?
That's great.
Oh my
Looks
God.
good.
Almost stressed. Okay. All right, here we go. So my name's Lisa Mast and I'm the library director, and I wanted to give you a brief overview of the past year at the library, pretty much starting from last summer, July 1st. That's kind of our fiscal year through June 30th of this year. So last summer, we were in the midst of our 80th anniversary of the library, 80 years of service to the Newington community. We were had a busy summer. We had high attendance in our summer reading programs. And we were, hold on a second. We were offering programs to children's, many of them story-based. We were offering a lot of teen programming. Teens like movies. They like to do crafts or any kind of project with their hands where they're creating. And then we had a lot of our programs for adults. We brought in speakers. We did hands-on program. We brought in authors, and we actually had staff that did programs for the public as well. So one of the things that we thought was going to be our biggest concern from 2019 into 2020 was the construction of the new town hall and how it would impact the service and access to the library. One of the big issues was parking too. I mean, we do have a new parking lot, but it's a lot less parking. And with the construction, the new parking that we're eventually going to have is not going to be available for quite some time. So that's what we thought was going to be our biggest concern. So what we were working on really at the time when the construction started in the spring through recently is what can we do for programming that's kind of outside of the box. So we were offering programming off hours, like on Friday nights. We were offering it off site, like at the senior center. And even with large events like at the Winterfest, we actually had shuttle service to off-site parking for patrons so that they could come, but they'd have to park somewhere else. Hold on 1 second. So the library, in the midst of all this, we were continuing, we had all our programming, we were continuing with our outreach to the community and to town organizations. We were doing a lot with the Board of Ed, school visits. We went into the schools a lot doing book talks to a lot of the middle school and high school age kids. We continued our work with the Transition Academy and Buckingham Services, doing a special friends program for adults with special needs. And we were visiting all the senior living facilities in towns, bringing them materials and programming. The Library Board of Trustees was busy during the year. The Library Board of Trustees Legacy Society and the George G. Handel Fine Arts Series hosted the 80th anniversary celebration series, which was 8 cultural events throughout the year. So as we entered into the fall, we had 4 more events that brought us to the end of 2019. As Diana had mentioned, Gina Barreca was at the annual meeting. We had the River City Slim and the Zydeco Hogs, CT Improv, and we finished with a holiday concert with Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And then as we got into July with the Board of Trustees, they began planning for their 24th running of the Newington Library 5K Challenge Road Race. We also, as part of another endowment that was given to the Library Board of Trustees, we were able to bring children's author Tammy Charles to speak to 400 3rd and 4th graders at the high school as part of the John and Adela Sleva Young People's Literary Series. And this is an annual event that we do thanks to the endowment from the Sleva family. Our friends were busy through the year fundraising and advocating for the library. They had 2 very successful book sales in the fall and in the spring, or the spring and the fall, I should say. And then they had their most successful Winterfest to date. They sold out and they actually made the most money to date. And in the midst of all of this, they actually lost one of their longtime beloved Friends volunteers, Anita Wilson, who was really important to the organization. And she was a real strong advocate for the library at a local level and for libraries at the state level. The Friends and the Library Board of Trustees collaborated on a dining partner program. And this was a way for the library and the Friends to recognize restaurants in town that support and give to the library for different events. And this dining partner ticket offers discounts to restaurants that are in town. People were able to get tickets at special events. They were able to get tickets through curbside and upon request. We continued with technology, offering technology to our community through public computers, through self-checkout, through our wireless network. We had circulating Wi-Fi hotspots. We had power adapters that people could use in the library when their devices started to die. We continued to offer more technology program for the public. And we were looking at our online services and making changes and adding as needed. This past year, we added Pronunciator to help people learn new languages. We also had some personnel changes. Jeanette Franzini was a longtime head of collection management. She retired, and Sue Schneider became the new head of collection management. And then soon after that, Pat Pierce retired as head of children's services, and our teen librarian, Bailey Francis, became the new head of children's services. In the building, for the building, I guess this past year, we did work on some different projects with different funding. We replaced all the counters in the public bathrooms and also added changing stations in both the men's and women's bathroom, thanks to funding from the town and from grant money. The Friends gave us money to replace furniture and add shelving in the quiet study area that allowed us to relocate a collection that was really cramped in another area. And as mentioned before, money from the race proceeds from last year's race helped to renovate the children's alcove area where the parent shelf collection is upstairs. We were able to add new shelving, and also we were able to reupholster the seating to make it more inviting for parents and children. And then the calm before the storm. When I was thinking about where we were in February, we were doing really well. We had just come off a very successful Winterfest, and the library was being used despite some of the challenges with parking, with access due to the construction. We had already at this point offered 658 programs to more than 21,000 people. More than 116,000 had walked through the door. We'd already circulated more than 206,000 items, and staff had answered over 40,000 reference questions. And our meeting room usage had already exceeded the previous public meeting space usage from the previous year. And even though we had personnel changes, I felt like, you know, all was good, we're okay. And then March hit. So when March hit, a lot of things changed for us. As Diane had said, on March 9th, many of the libraries in the local area closed their doors. And not only did they close their doors and stop services, they also shut their book drops. We continued to operate as is for the next week, and we saw the explosion of usage from not only our patrons, but also Hartford, you know, the Hartford area, as well as throughout the state. And then the following week on March 23rd, on March 16th, we actually closed our doors. We were told by the town manager and the health director that we needed to close our doors to the public. However, we continued offering curbside service, and we actually were in better shape than many libraries that were still open because we had been doing this for the past year, and we actually started it because of the construction as a way to address maybe access problems or parking issues. So we were able to do curbside, and we offered it for the next week, and it was insane. We went from a curbside that was, and I think probably a lot of businesses found this who had it before, it was used infrequently. So we did about 20 a month. And in 5 days, we did 410 pickups. And it was almost not sustainable. So the following Monday on March 23rd, the health director and the town manager told us to stop the curbside. There were too many unknowns about COVID and how long it could live on surfaces. and the safety of staff. And also at this point, they were trying to get people to stay home and stay safe. So we stopped our curbside service. I know this is the sad sign that you see outside the front of the library when you come by, but our staff never stopped working the entire time. We have been coming into the building since March 23rd. We are doing things differently. We have been answering questions. So when people call, they get a live person. And I think that's vitally important, especially in today's world. We're answering questions about whatever they want, but also a lot of it had to do with technology because they couldn't access our physical materials. People were turning to our digital materials, our online services. So many of the questions were about that. Because the book drops were not closed, we were processing materials. However, we were quarantining them first. They were sitting at least 3 days. And then initially we were wiping down every single item that came back before we'd even check it back in. The staff had to learn how to work and socially distance in a group interaction. The bottom picture is like a panoramic of a time when we were having a sit, which is a staff interaction time, and it's coffee. And if you notice, everybody's sitting far, apart. And it was hard to do that because you weren't used to it. We all started wearing masks, we wore gloves. So we had to change how we did our work. And the children's room immediately jumped on doing virtual story times for parents, because at that time, I think it was really hard initially for parents to find things for their kids to do. So we started offering the virtual story times. We also knew that people were going to turn to the digital collections. So the first thing that we did was we reallocated monetary resources to increase our digital collection, which was our ebooks, our e-audiobooks, and our streaming services. And we added additional streaming services, including IndieFlix and Quello. We also lifted the limits on how many items that somebody could actually check out and stream in one of these digital services. And our consortium worked with vendors to add additional online services, many of them at no cost to our patrons during this time. And in order for patrons to do this, you did have to have a library card. So we added an online temporary library card application, and we were able to issue library cards, a temporary library card for people to be able to use our digital services from home. And I will say that I think it was during this time that we saw a 63% increase in the downloadable audiobooks, 107% increase in ebook usage, and 139% in streaming usage. And this is the numbers we've continued to see since the library shut its doors. The one thing that we did note as well is we needed to get information out to the public. So the website and our social media were ways that we were getting information out to let them know when hours changed, what services were available, what things the library could offer. So we did turn to those to put the information out. We created web pages on our website to give people things to do, free things to do from home, to give parents story times they could do from home with their kids. We actually created reading lists for reading suggestions for ebooks, not just the physical books, but for ebooks that people could actually access. We subscribed to our own YouTube channel so that when we created our pre-recorded videos, we could upload them to the channel and make them available from our website. And we all learned the dreaded Zoom. And I say that, as you can see tonight, it's like hit or miss a little bit, but this is what we use to record live programs. This is also what we're using for meetings. You don't go to a in-person meeting. It's very rare that you go nowadays to one. So we've all been using this to stay in touch with each other, to stay in touch with the different organizations that we do have to meet with. And as we got through the spring and got into May, we started to revamp how we might do the curbside service when we restarted it. And on June 1st, we did restart curbside service. We had a better understanding about quarantining materials, and we have a new way of doing our curbside service that's contactless. So, and it's next day. Patrons call one day, they make arrangements to pick up their items, and then we have a contactless way for them to pick them up the next day. And the picture that you see on the top left-hand corner is the setup of items that are going to be picked up that day. We have them in order, and people call, we run them out, and they wait in their car till we get them on the table, and then they get out of their car and grab them. And this has been a very successful way for us to give access to the library's physical collection. We're averaging about 85 a day, and it's not 85 single books, it's 85 pickups. And a lot of times when people are picking up, it's multiple items. Karen was just telling me that she had, they pulled holds Monday morning. These are items people are requesting, and we had almost 250 items just to pull for that morning alone. And that didn't include what we will be pulling the rest of the day. So when we are looking at programming today and programming that we started, in May and June and now into the summer, through the summer, it's all virtual programming. As far as the programming we're doing or that presenters are doing, and we're using our YouTube channel, Facebook Live, or Zoom to do that. And a lot of it's available through links on the website. The Children's Department also created a story walk in Mill Pond, where they put up signs and it tells a story. So each sign you go to tells the next part of the story, and parents can do it with their children through the park. And they're about to put up a second story, I think, in September. And they did grab and go kits for children, and it was very, very popular. Parents loved them, and we had a parent that actually posted what their kids made from one of the grab and go kits. And these were things that we were able to get to the patrons through our curbside service. So we did the same for teens. We did some online programming, the virtual programming, grab and go kits, and we added some more sites that they could use from home to be creative or to learn something. And adults had the same thing. We also added virtual tech help for adults, and we had grab and go kits for adults as well. When we were closed, we've made some changes to the building in anticipation also of reopening. One of the things, the community room is now being used as a quarantine area for the books that are being returned, and they sit for at least 3 days. And we also quarantine any items that are returned to the library through the statewide delivery system. And after they get through their quarantine, they're checked back in, and then they're put back on the shelf or go out to patrons again. And you can kind of see around the desks there, you can see the reflection. Those are what they call sneeze guards. And it's plexiglass that we put around all the public desks now. We're still getting more in because we have large public desk areas, but it's going to be a way to protect patrons and to protect staff when we do reopen. And one of the things that you're going to find in most libraries is that the removal of chairs, that people are not going to be, the library is really to be used for browsing and not to be for people to come in and sit and spend a lot of time. So a lot of the chairs have been removed, and they're going to be stored in different areas of the library. One of the big impacts too, as had been mentioned, is the impact on fundraising that has happened this past year because of COVID. The Friends 2019 book sale and their fall book sale that they would have had in November have been canceled, and they did cancel their Winterfest as well. And those are three huge fundraisers for the Friends. And as was just mentioned as well, the library's road race, which had been postponed from May to October, had been canceled as well. So these are revenues for the Board of Trustees, and also revenue for the Friends. So they are looking at alternative fundraising ways. And as I've mentioned, they're doing a Ready, Set, Go giveaway for people to make donation entries and as a way to win the raffle prizes that would have been given out at the race. And the Friends are having a children's grab bag book sale on October 3rd. And then the other thing I do want to mention is one of the ways the Friends do raise money, and people need to, they're really going to be working on increasing his membership. That's a constant for them as well. But membership is one way that they've always raised money, and it's going to be even more important this year than ever. So moving forward, we have a couple things. We have a new address now. We're now 100 Garfield Street. That was effective September 1st, and that went in line with the change of address with the new town hall. which it makes sense because the access to the library building is from Garfield Street, and it will be much more, it'll be easier for people when they're you're giving directions on how to access the actual library building. We are preparing for the reopening for the public and staff. We have to look at staff areas as well because we have some areas that are very small and have quite a few people working in them. So we are trying to figure out how to get people to work safely in the building. We're continuing to monitor and expand our hours when we can. One of the first things we did when we could was we expanded curbside when we restarted it to Saturday mornings as well, knowing that some people cannot make it during the week. So we're hoping to be able to expand a little bit more there. All programming will be virtual for the foreseeable future. All public meeting space will not be available for the foreseeable future. We're going to continue to add to our physical and digital collection and also to add to support the school curriculums. System holds are now available, which means that you can request materials from other libraries. And now that the statewide delivery system is working, you can actually pick them up at our library as well. We're continuing to monitor online services that we think will be useful to our patrons. We are going to be adding a new one this month called Help Now, which is an online tutoring service for students. And we're continuing to make improvements to the building when possible. And actually next week, thanks to funding from the capital improvement project funds, we are getting new carpet in the children's department to replace the 30-year-old carpet that is currently there. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to continue to monitor and change whatever circumstances we have to offer the best service we can, based on whatever happens next. I mean, we have this new normal that we're working with. We're trying to get used to it. We're trying to adjust, and we're just going to keep doing the best we can because really our goal is to offer the best service we can to our patrons. And I just would like to, end by adding, I just wanted to thank the Board of Trustees have been wonderful supporting us, especially during this kind of really difficult time since March, but they've always been a great support to the library. And I really personally, and I appreciate all the support I've been getting and the support they've been giving staff. We have a great friends group that continues to advocate for the library, and they've worked so hard this past year to help us as much as they can. And they're trying to come up with ideas to continue to fundraise for the library in the future. We've had great support from our new town manager, Keith Chapman, and from the health director, Charles Brown, because we've needed it. And there's been a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, and they've been really great about supporting us and giving us advice and telling us what we need to do. And I'd like to thank also my staff, especially my assistant director, Karen Benner. She's been my co-pilot in this whole thing. We've had to split up sometimes with some of the work we're doing, and she's always been there to help. And she's been wonderful to the staff, and I've been very lucky to be able to work with her. Lynn Cayley, our business manager, has done a great job as well. And we just have a really good staff. It's been hard. We went from a staff of 41 down to a staff of 21 when COVID hit. Half the staff basically chose to take leave rather than to work for many different reasons. So we are working with a much smaller staff, and people stepped up. And I am so incredibly proud of them. And I'm just really thrilled that we've been able to do what we can. And I just would like to thank them as well. So that's the year in the life of Lucy this past year. And I'm just hoping next year is so much better. I mean, it's got to be, right? So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So thank you, Lisa. Once again, you and library staff have worked hard to continue to serve and entertain and educate our community, even though no one could have forecasted the changes for 2020 had in store for us. You managed to keep serving our community, and we as a board are very grateful for the way you support us. Before we move on, thank you. Before we move on to nominations, I also want to take a moment to recognize my fellow board members, and it would be Anna Eddy, Lee Bradley, Laurel Goodgen, Judy Igelski, Lisa Jones, Pauline Kruk, Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey, Maureen Lyons, Pam Raynock, Neil Ryan, and Christine Shushan. So we're all in this together. I know that's been used a lot, but we are here. And again, we're very proud of our staff. Next item up would be nominations, and I will turn that over to Maureen Lyons.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Thanks for a great report, Lisa. We have three-year term renewals for corporate members: Lee Bradley, Lisa Jones, and Maureen Lyons. Unfortunately, Lee Bradley has declined to serve another term. Lisa and Maureen are both interested in serving their terms. So I'd like to ask if there are any nominations from the floor. Now, that would be if we had a large public participation. I'm not sure if we do, but we would entertain nominations for corporate positions. Well, hearing none, may I hear a motion to accept the 2 3-year renewals for Lisa Jones and Maureen Lyons?
This is Leanne. I'll make a motion to renew the corporate members, 3-year members, corporate board positions for Maureen and Lisa.
I'll second that. This is Anna.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, thank you. And I will just mention at this point that if anybody knows anybody who is interested in serving as a corporate member, to let either Diane or Lisa know. Now we move on to the nomination of new officers. The nominations for officers are as follows: President Diane Stam, Vice President Maureen Lyons, Secretary Iris Larson, and Treasurer Leanne Mankey. Are there any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, may I hear a motion to accept the officers' slate as presented?
This is Anna. I'll make a motion to accept the officer slate as presented.
This is Pauline. I second the motion.
Any discussion? Okay.
All for them.
Then I suggest that we submit.
Support you.
Well, all in favor of the motion, I'm sorry.
Yes.
To accept the officers as presented?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Then I ask that we submit one ballot for the slate to the secretary. And normally we would have a paper ballot. This evening, we will have to do a roll call vote. So as your name, if Gail, as you call the names of the board members, your aye would signify that you're accepting all the names on the ballot. And or
Okay.
nay.
Okay. Anna Eddy,
I accept all.
Laurel Goodgen,
Aye.
Pauline Kruk,
Aye.
Maureen Lyons,
Aye.
Leanne Mankey,
Aye.
Pam Raynock,
Aye.
Neil Ryan,
Aye.
Diane Stam,
Aye.
Lisa Jones,
Aye.
Christine Shushan.
Aye.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So motion carries 10-0.
Okay, then all were in favor, and the motion to accept the officer's ballot as presented has been unanimously accepted. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And if there's, no more discussion about either the corporation members or the nominations or the slate that's been voted in, I thank you for your cooperation and your votes.
Thank you, Maureen. It's always dicey to do that, especially in a Zoom meeting when we're out of sync. Hopefully next year we're all back in person again. So I appreciate you handling that for us.
Well, thank you. My pleasure.
So the next item on our agenda is old business, and we didn't have anything there that we were going to cover. So we'll go on to the new business, and that's recognition of honorees. And I think you will not be surprised, having heard Director Maston's report, that our honorees this year will be the staff that came in. Usually organizations have one or two folks that rise to unexpected challenges. And I'm happy to say that we had 21 of our 41 employees who took the challenge to continue to provide learning and resources to our community. These folks were spread across many departments, including children's, teens, and circulation and the reference desk. As you heard in Director Maston's report earlier, these folks devised ways to stay safe while working together to provide access to the library services. They found ways to increase access and content to videos and learning materials. They emptied book drops and sanitized books so that we could keep them in circulation to our patrons. The board would like to recognize and thank these folks for being our boots on the ground as we worked to figure out how to deal with our world during the pandemic. This is the hard part, and they are, and I'd like to read their names: Julie Bergman, Karen Benner, David Brown, Victoria Butaro, Lynn Cayley, Rebecca Cobb, Joanne Cocola, Linda Delitowitz, Jeanette Francini, Bailey Francis, Caitlin Gontrez, Jennifer Hebert, Betty Cappy, Lisa Maston, Carolyn McLean, Beth Mendelson, Sarah Riordan, Michelle Royer, Sue Schneider, Melanie Sajaz, and Susan Tubman. As soon as we can get together in larger numbers, we'll recognize these folks in person, but they have our sincere thanks for keeping our library alive and vital during this pandemic. If they weren't willing to put in the time and figure it out, we could have been like many libraries that were just literally shut down. So we were able to continue to serve our community. And I think our community has appreciated it. As you could see, the high numbers, jumps in numbers in terms of people that were still looking for information from the library. So again, I very much thank the staff for pulling together and doing that for us. Next item would be the public participation, which we'll do just before the adjournment. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak or say anything? James, I don't know if you still have folks out there.
I do have 3 individuals. I'm just trying to put some information on the screen for them. For some reason, my slide's not accepting it. But if they're interested, if they go to the bottom of their participant panel, click on the button, it should show them a button at the bottom of the screen that says lower or raise hand, and they can indicate their interest in speaking. Or to make it easy, I can unmute each individual individually and ask if they would like to. At this
Why don't you
point.
go through and unmute people individually? That
All
might
right.
be easier.
All right, I'll start with Linda Thurall. If she'd like to speak, your mic is now open. Just hit *6 on it or hit unmute in the bottom left corner. Ms. Thuralt, I can see your mic is unmuted, but it looks like you may not have asked your computer to utilize the microphone. At this point, she has muted her microphone. We'll try Lorraine Kalinowski. Appears we're having a problem with microphones tonight. Both Ms. Thuralt and Ms. Kalinowski, both mics are active, but I'm not getting any sound from any of them.
Okay.
Let's
Is there
try.
anyone else in public participation?
We have one more. That will be Natalie.
Natalie, I know you're familiar with Zoom.
Yes, I am, but I don't think that, I don't have a microphone showing up on my screen, so I don't think you're gonna hear me.
No, you're there.
We hear you.
We can hear you.
Wow, what do you know? I don't really have much to say, except I really want to get back in the library again, please, sometime really soon. I miss it very much.
We would all like that. So Lorraine or Linda, I don't know if you're available, if you have comments.
Yeah, both of their microphones are active, but I'm not showing any sound available on either one of them.
Okay.
James, can you just tell me the spelling of Linda's last name, please?
T-H-E-R-R-I-A-U-L-T.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Linda and Lorraine, if there was something that you wanted to share or ask, and due to technical difficulties you were having problems, please feel free to reach out to either Lisa Maston or myself at the library, and we'd be happy to answer any questions for you. Okay. With that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining our meeting tonight to hear what's going on with the library and our staff.
You were here too.
And oh, did I just hear someone? Okay, I'll go back to thanking everyone for their participation. And I second Natalie's wish that we could once again open the library. We constantly work with the town manager and the health department to gauge just how we can safely reopen the library. As you can see, we have some staffing issues. On one hand, the less staff you have, the easier it is to distance. However, as you heard from those numbers, the library does a brisk business, and we could use our employees back in a safe venue. So we constantly monitor whether or not we should open. Be assured that that is our goal. And when we can, we'll be happy to see everybody inside safely following the rules. So we appreciate that. At this point, I would ask for a motion for adjournment.
This is Maureen, so moved.
This is Leanne,
May I
second.
have a second? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
In under an hour.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a good month.
Nice, thank you.
I'll
Good
see
night,
you.
everybody. Nice seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Diane,
Yes.
when will those items be dropped off at my house for Chris and I to work on? Will someone be in touch with us before that? For the gift, the gift
For the Ready, Set, Go?
cards and stuff? Yeah.
We'll coordinate that with Anna.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll do that offline. Thank you.
no problem. Okay.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
great. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Thank you, James. Appreciate your help.
No problem. This went a little smoother than I thought it was.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.